Good afternoon.
Good.
The former Lord Mayor of the Yankuba municipality, Mayor Bakary, the former Deputy Mayor of the municipality, who was also a councillor of Colony, Mr. JJ, and all the for his huge endorsement of my candidacy for the Mayor of the Yankuba municipality for the May 20th local government elections. Now, this to me is very humbling in the sense that all of these people here are my elder brothers, my uncles, people that I have worked with at the time that I would believe I was the youngest in the council. I was the youngest in the council in 2008 when I was nominated by the mayor, and then I served alongside all of these great people for a term, and of course some of them came back in their second term. That time that I was not there, but we did follow all the projects and all the development that they brought to the municipality and all the good work that they have done. So for them to gather here today to give an endorsement to my candidacy is something that I am very proud of, in the sense that it could have been anyone else. It could have been another candidate. Some of them come from parties. It could have been a candidate that maybe a party wants to put up, but here they are endorsing me and ready to support my candidacy. And I believe that these are people that have a lot of support base, because reality is anyone who has ever served any public office where you were elected means that you are loved by your people, and you command respect, and you command a support base that is good enough to add to what we have. So I just want to say thank you very much to Lord Mayor, and I definitely appreciate the step that you and the former councillors and the former CEO, of course, who is also here, are taking to support my candidacy, and we believe that it will transcend the endorsement. Also goes down to getting to talk to the people on the ground, getting to mobilize more and more support. And while I've missed most of what they have said, I want to believe that the endorsement is purely like they said recently on what they know about me and what we are able to do at the time that we were in the council. And I know sometimes the rhetorics have changed, and our people unfortunately have short memories. They only remember what happened in the last months and maybe the last few years, but probably do not even remember the things that happened in the past. But I can speak confidently that the Lord Mayor Yankuba Bakary and his council did a lot of work in the Kanifing municipality in the 2 terms that he served as mayor. And the records are there for those that want to see it. We talk of markets, you can count them, multiple, probably about 6 or so markets during these 2 terms as a councillor. And I've always talked about these issues in my meetings. Somebody mentioned the Abuko market here. That is a market that was developed by Lord Mayor at the time that I was serving as a chairperson of the Finance and Audit Committee. The same time that the Talinding Sikap market was constructed, and the same with the old Joshua market that the CEO said has a garage. And it was the same time that Charles Chow High School was built. And the Serekunda market was burned down at one time. It was during this period that the Serekunda market was rebuilt to the status that it is. And that is just on markets. You can count roads that were constructed. You can talk of support that we're giving to women and giving to young people, and count multiple scholarships that we're giving to ward councillors to give to the needy children in their wards, and the list can go on. In his second term, we know about the Latikunda market, the one where they pay the counterpart contribution, and we also know about the Manjai market, one that they bought the land and constructed the market to the state of that the Manjai market is today. And we know about the main office of the Kanifing municipality. All of these things happened in his second term. And the tractors that were purchased for the collection of refuse for free for the people of the municipality. So when you talk about records, you can count a lot of records that were registered on the Lord Mayor Yankuba and the council. And the people of the municipality know this. They know that when you're taking off comparisons, they don't even exist. But moving forward, we're looking forward to getting more and more engaged with the people so that they get to understand what the stakes are, and they get to understand that all of these developments were done at a time that council was collecting minimal revenue. But we've seen an increase by 100% of revenue, and yet still we are not seeing those kind of markets and those kind of structures and those kind of schools being constructed under the period that the current Lord Mayor Bensouda is serving. So, you know, for me, I'm just elated that I'm getting the support of all these great people, men and women, and of course not only them, but any other person that has served under Lord Mayor Yankuba, and that they will be joining us in the campaign as we move forward to the local government election. So thanks to everyone, and thank you to the media also. I guess this is where I will stop, and I appreciate that you guys were able to make time to come and cover this press conference. Thank you. And when I say people, I mean our generation. Unfortunately, do not take time to make research and be independently informed. We want to just follow what people say in the media and just take that to be what is the facts. I would believe that we should be able to develop the mind to be able to verify things on our own and be able to be independent-minded, not to follow the whims and the issues that are discussed. I have explained this before, and I probably will explain it again. The problem of the stadium is a long-term issue. Leadership is about responsibility. It's about accepting what happens during your time and taking responsibility and taking action to solve the problems that confront the generation or the people that you serve. And that is the situation that I find myself in, that coming into a ministry that is under-resourced, a ministry whose facilities are not well developed, and we're doing our best to develop. But it appears people just want a quick fix to problems. And I am not going to follow the opinion of people out there to do things in a quick way. No, we are not doing that. Because in the end, we have a responsibility to ensure that what we're doing is sustainable and it's good and it's durable. Stadium issue, like so many people said, this stadium was opened in 1984 after 2 years of construction at the donation of China, the People's Republic of China. From 1984 to now, what was the efforts to have a second stadium? It was zero. What was the efforts to even maintain that independent stadium itself? It was non-existent. But moving forward, CAF does not get up and ban stadium overnight. Everybody knows here that even in your own home, you don't just get up and make a rule overnight and say it must happen today. No, it doesn't work like that. You make a rule and allow time for people to adjust to the rule. So when CAF was talking about stadiums being not up to date and the need to improve them, that wasn't now. That was in 2014. And they didn't just say stop it. They said they're giving African countries 5 years to upgrade their stadiums or develop new facilities from 2014 to 2017. So Gambia exhausted our 5 years in 2017 and nothing happened. And then that's when they started imposing the law and banned countries, including Gambia in 2019, and government put in some little money and improved on certain things that they want, just to allow you to play one qualifiers, and then the ban comes back again in 2020. Before I was appointed, the stadium was banned. And government put in some little money again to improve it, just to ensure that we play our 3 matches here in the last AFCON qualifiers. And then now we have to do it again. Do we want to be spending 10 million year in, year out? Our idea is, let's do a comprehensive study of the stadium and do a one-time fix to the problem. And we did that. We're not experts. we depended on another Ministry of Works to do the assessment using the CAF checklist of what needs to be at the stadium. And that study was completed last year, around April. Because the ban eventually was in the second ban. After when they lifted the ban for 2020 we played, or 2021 we played, 2022 they brought it back again. This was communicated to us in March of 2022. And it was the same time that we asked Minister of Works to do an assessment. They did an assessment and submitted it, I think about 2 months after, around May or so. And that time, the cost, as what they said, was about 100 million to do the renovation of the stadium in 2022. Our budget as the whole ministry for 2022 was not even up to $100 million. We had about $80-something million as a budget for the ministry, as allocation from the Ministry of Finance. And now that is for your ministry to operate, all the institutions, all the programs you do. But here is Minister of Works telling you that you need 100 million to fix the stadium. How possible is that? We couldn't. But we need to look for means to do that. And eventually we were lucky to have gotten the resources from government outside our budget to be able to do the stadium. But again, construction work requires a lot of processes. You don't just get up and start work. You must do a BOQ, you must tender the projects, and allow for a period of 1 month before you can even assess it. After assessment, you have to send it to GPPA for review, and when they review, they send it back to you. Those administrative bureaucracies alone can take you 2-3 months before you can even complete it. And that is what is completed, and the work has started at the stadium. And I've said this, work has started at the stadium, but there is nothing in that stadium that is available in the country. The contractors have to order stuff from outside, majority of them from Turkey, and we saw a few days ago, the seats are around. Already at the ports, they have 2 containers that have arrived, and Monday they're having 2 other containers that are arriving from Turkey, and all of those containers are fitted with equipment. There is a total of about 9 containers that are supposed to come that is going to refurbish the stadium. And we don't manufacture anything. All of these things come from outside. But in the end, the most important thing is that stadium renovation is ongoing. Who do we blame for the delay? I mean, for the reason why Gambia is playing outside. It's not me. I was appointed in October of 2020. And in between October of 2020 and now is 2 years. We've done our best to ensure that the stadium is brought up to standard. And I think if everybody is reasonable enough and is fair enough, you must be appreciative of the efforts that we have taken to ensure that our stadium is upgraded to a standard, just like our CAF requires, and not to tell us that, oh, you failed the people. See, I don't even know how we failed. Because the reality is Gambia have been here, we've been struggling for qualification to AFCON, we never qualified. Government was not putting a lot of money in sports, we all know that. But today we're putting in money, we're taking care of our national team, their accommodations, their travels, their allowances, their camping allowances, and their bonuses. And this is what football needs, it needs investment. And we were not getting the investment, that's why we were not going anywhere. Now government is taking care of the national team. We spent more than 100 million for Gambia to qualify to the AFCON the last time. Those things have happened. And that included the qualifying matches, all the 4 test matches that Gambia played during the qualifying rounds. And then when we qualified, we spent money again for the team to prepare for the tournament in Cameroon. And that's why you were hearing those times the team, every FIFA window, the team was either going to Turkey for training camp, or Morocco, or Qatar, or Dubai, or Portugal. The other one was in Portugal. These were at the expenses of government, under the ministry, at the time that I was minister. And that is what helps us to have the kind of players that we have, and went to AFCON, of course, with all the management and the coach and the players. And that's what gave us the results. In AFCON alone, we spent more than 100 million with arrangements of flights and all those things for the players. How did that happen? It's during our time. So how can anybody think that we failed when we are doing more now in sports than the past government? How is that possible? In the same thing, you can talk about football, you can talk about the same thing for volleyball. You can talk about the same thing for athletics and all the other sports. So we need to be a little bit reasonable and accept the fact that we're not saying we're doing enough. We're doing our best based on the resources that are available to ensure that our sports is promoted. And that is the message, that's the answer that I have, and that's a response to the issue about not doing much for sports. I mean, beyond sports, there's so much going on. The NYSS is ongoing. with the current recruitment of 305 young people who are all in different training institutions at the expense of the ministry. The same thing can be talked of NEDI, where we're giving loans and grants to young people who are into business. So I think this is what we can give. It's up to the journalists and people that want to go and verify. We are not a PR stunt individuals. We focus on the things and talk about the things that we want to talk about. The rest is up to individuals to go and find out if they want to know what we're doing. But that's what I can say so far.
The agreement, the building of the officer and KMC.
That we have a hand. How do you have a hand?
You may the government have on this, so
government
cannot go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I don't know where that is coming from, but let me say this. I don't want to talk about what other people are doing and what they are not doing. I just now I explained to you people about processes of construction, how the tendering is done, the signing of the contract, and the payment before work can start. So if somebody lays a foundation for a project that is not signed anywhere, it was never tendered, you did not see anywhere where KMC was signing an official contract with a construction company, and they went and laid a foundation. Lay foundation for which job? And which company is doing the job? Today I can say Jigo Construction and Integral of Turkey are the one doing the Independence Stadium. Which company is supposed to do the Serekunda West Stadium? Maybe they need to tell us. So, see, that's why I said playing to the gallery and doing the right things is different. We have no interest and we were never involved in decisions of Serekunda West, because Serekunda West is not under us. Somebody just said it. All the mini stadiums or football fields within the municipality are under the council and not under central government. They are not under the ministry. That's why we just saw it, just like the way you saw it. A plan on video, a 3D plan, and the laying of the foundation. But that's all we know. But who is doing the job and where the money is coming from, they said official is funding it. Now, if official is funding it, official is a private company. What relationship does official have with government? But my point is, you go to the Serekunda West Committee and ask them questions about which company is supposed to construct that place. If you see a company, then you know they're true. If there is no company, then it's not true. But I've never talked about the Serekunda West. I have no business with it. I'm not part of it. I am not aware of what is happening. I know it's a tripartite arrangement between the committee, the council, and officer. So for them to say government is blocking it, I don't even know how sensible that is, because we don't own it. We don't own Serekunda West. The committee there is not under us. The committee there is under KMC. And KMC is a body that can do their job. I mean, official funded the one at traffic lights, and government gave them the land. So and we believe that we're doing that because we want to support sports in the country. So I don't see anywhere any reason why anybody will block something. But I'll just advise anyone to go and find out, maybe get the right information. But I want to believe that I don't know which company is supposed to do the Serekunda West. But one thing I know, and that I will say just to clarify this issue, the company that we brought here for the Independence Stadium was recently approached and asked to do a costing for the development of that place. So there's no company that is supposed to do that, and we have no interest in stopping development. That's not. That must be a serious allegation, because in fact I can raise my hand and say that I am probably the most accessible minister right now in this country. That's the reality, because my office is open every day that I am there, appointment or not appointment, people come in, and if I am not busy and they have the patience to wait, they will see me. I go to all kind of programs, even Little Nawetans, I go there. And my number is all over the place. People have my numbers and they can call me and reach me at any time. Or if I'm busy, they miss a call maybe, but otherwise, to say that I am not accessible, that's strange. I don't know how that is possible, but you know, I'm everywhere. People know that. Even those that cannot reach me in my office, they will come to my home because they know where I live. You know, and they know that when they come there, they will see me. So, you know, I'm very, very accessible. If that is the only thing that qualifies somebody to be a good leader, then I'm probably 100%.